by Tommy. Hate will never, ever be tolerated. Listen to me carefully, please. Allahu Akbar, when shouted by men wearing masks and carrying weapons, is hate speech. Okay? Islam is full of hate speech. The very beginnings of the Quran, chapter 1 of the Quran, surah 1 of the Quran is hate speech. If we were to designate it as such, God, all hell would break loose in Britain, but it is. Allahu Akbar is hate speech. And I watched your police officers leading a crowd of people shouting Allahu Akbar on a video put out. As part of our policing operation last night, officers engaged with a group intent on going to Limeside. Yeah, that's the Muslims. Say it. Why don't you say it? Why is it all groups? Why do we have to read between the lines to infer what you're talking about, please? In line with our duty to minimize disruption to the local area as much as possible, officers walked with the group and sought to reduce any problems on the route they took. You guided them. You knew they were not heading towards a peaceful protest. I knew. I could see it. I could see on their Facebook page. Anybody who looked at that crowd and heard Allahu Akbar knows that they are not going for peaceful protest. If someone gets on a bus in Israel and shouts Allahu Akbar, they get shot, because that's what they say before they blow themselves to pieces in a suicide bombing. So walking along the street during Ramadan, actually, or just after, shouting Allahu Akbar is an act of hate speech and premeditated violence. And your police officers did nothing, because you police Muslims differently from everyone else. It is kuffar versus Muslim. That, and your police officers are engaged in acts of extraordinary dimitude. You treat the Muslims differently. This is the entire basis of Islamic supremacy, is to get you to do exactly what you did, Greater Manchester Police. There were also reports of stabbings and gunshots, but I'm glad to say these were false reports. Yeah, you're glad that there were no guns. Understandably, the sound of fireworks. Who let off fireworks? Were Tommy supporters having a big celebratory fireworks session? No, again, it's Muslims. I assure you that those who believe it to be acceptable to throw fireworks can also expect to be investigated by the dedicated team of detectives who will be working on this case. The case you facilitated and created. You should have stopped these people miles from Tommy. You should have said, come back without face coverings, come back with no intent to cause violence. It was clear there was intent to cause violence. Remember, a different police force, but a police force in England, threw Tommy and his children out of a city because you feared there might be violence in the future, but you couldn't tell that a gang of Muslim men wearing face coverings shouting Allahu Akbar, you couldn't tell that that might lead to violence in the future. Intelligence suggests, police intelligence, if there was ever an oxymoron, it's this, suggests that some of those traveled a significant distance to Oldham. Yeah, because they were shouting they were from Halifax. I don't know my geography too well, but I know Halifax is not Oldham. Yesterday, and came with their own agendas. Yeah, their agendas were written on Facebook a week before, not to support any protest. We will trace those responsible for the disturbance and use all available powers to do so. Have you shut down the Facebook pages yet? No, I suggest you don't shut down Facebook pages, to be honest. I'd suggest you let everybody organize in Facebook, because then you can see what they're doing. But you should be letting Tommy back on. Now, Tommy's Facebook page, let's go back over that. It was taken down when he had over 1 million followers. We put out Panodrama that had 1 million views in under 24 hours. Tommy's Facebook page was actually the largest and most significant political page on Facebook in the UK. Just let that sink in. We were getting more interactions, more comments, more likes, more shares than Corbyn, than Jeremy Corbyn. And he's way more popular than Theresa May and the Conservatives, that's for sure. And it was shut down, and you know that. Hasn't seemed to have dented actually the reach. We put out videos now. Telegram is helping tremendously. Obviously, I hope people watching this are following Tommy on Telegram. Tommy Robinson News on Telegram. Just look for that. Join the 42,000 or more who are actively following him there. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not reading the comments. They're on another screen. I'm going to just finish this police statement, though. I must be clear that these people are not representative of the people of Oldham. Yeah. So what? Today, local residents have selflessly cleaned their streets and the surrounding areas, which I not only want to thank them for, but think it sends a clear message to those who had no regard for the harm or mess they were causing. You are not welcome. Do you listen? Jihad, Muslim jihad, does not say thank you. It does not thank the local residents of Oldham for clearing up their own streets after they were invaded by a gang of marauding Muslims who were not from that area. But even if they were from a neighboring area, and this is the point that Tommy made in his video, he specifically chose a place in Oldham, an estate that is not close to any estates that are predominantly Muslim. He specifically did that. He knows that there are a lot of Muslims in Oldham. He didn't go near their areas, which is why seeing the police bring the Muslims to Tommy is so important. If this doesn't, this is scarier than the Stephen Lawrence case. Look it up.